This game is Spellcaster University. It's a colony simulator where your colony is a university and your sims are your mages, or mages to be. The people that you are going to raise to become the next generation of mages to try and repel the Lord of the Dead and their evil forces. Ultimately, the Lord of the Dead will bring an end to the match at some point, by which you hope to have accomplished enough objectives to 3-star the mission. What we're going to be doing here is restarting the tutorial and setting up a new campaign with literally any information, just so that it will boot us into the tutorial. I'll very, very quickly go through that, which will explain a couple of the different layers of the game. If any of these seem like they have a nuance that is not necessarily dove into at the point, it may be over the course of the rest of the gameplay, so do not fret. This is just a little bit of a primer to get you on a base level, so that we kind of know where we're going to be going for the rest of the stream. Remember to communicate with factions through the local map. Their support will be invaluable. Definitely true. Something we're going to have to focus on a little bit more that we didn't necessarily in the Take a Peek. The first load screen is a little long, but the rest of them are all kind of similar. Good day. My name is Archmage Posthumus. I was once head teacher, but I had to give up my position for obvious reasons after the Lord of Evil's last attack. I shall be on hand to help you take my place. This short tutorial will show you the basics of Spellcaster University. You'll find more options in the help menu in the options above. Let's start the tutorial. At the bottom of the screen, let me move myself a little bit away here. At the bottom of the screen is your card hand. With these cards, you can build and customize your school, equip students, create new houses. To play a card, select it and move it towards the play area. We're not actually going to immediately play it. When placing a building card, the room's access points are shown. Right, left, or stairs to access other floors. Rooms vary in dimensions and access points, so be careful not to block anything. But access points are shown in blue on the card's illustration. Right-click switches between text and illustration. Upgrade items can then be slotted into that room. The symbol in the bottom left of the card will be green if the school has at least one available slot. We don't have an example here, but it would have a symbol down in this bottom left corner that would be green if we had the ability to place a relic. In the types of cards we have in here, these are instantaneous effects, and then these 3 are rooms. We don't have any items so far. Red if not. Room cards specify which type of items they can house. You may draw from 6 different decks to obtain new cards. When you draw, choose one of 3 cards. The more you draw from the same deck, the more expensive those cards will become. So these different decks are specializations in different natural magical hierarchies. You study them more by drawing more cards from the deck, getting more cards that give you more rooms to then study that thing, more bonuses to study that kind of thing in the future. Bonuses associated with that school of magic. And obviously, as you're specializing increasingly in them, they are getting more and more expensive. Although you are also increasing the rate at which you get the resource to buy them. So it balances back out. The standard deck mainly contains utility cards, such as refectories, like mess hall, dormitories, basic classrooms. These cards can be bought for gold, which you gain, for example, when students apply to use the refectory, which you also lose through upkeep and teacher salaries. There are 5 magic schools: Natural, Shadow, Arcana, Light, and Alchemy. Each deck is made up of cards specific to its type of magic and cost mana. Mana is created when students study that type of magic, so they're effectively just a different kind of resource. Here you can change the speed of the game and pause it. The filter tab allows you to toggle filters that'll help you better visualize some aspects of the school. Events will appear here, so directly below me. This is probably where I'm going to be sitting for the rest of the cast. Events will appear here. Click on them to open them. They'll automatically open when their gauge is filled. The messenger guinea pig indicates that you can message neighboring factions. So the messenger guinea pig is very, very important It's effectively like a use on cooldown kind of situation, but it doesn't bring itself up when the cooldown comes off, so you have to keep an eye and make sure that you use it whenever available. You may also contact them through the local map. The head teacher's office gives you access to the school's rules, which you can modify. From there, you can see a list of students that have already graduated. Every student is given a future at the end of their curriculum depending on their level. The better their magic training is, the more prestigious their future will be, and the better bonus they will provide to the school. So you want your alma mater to be quite powerful mages, right? You're trying to train mages to be able to repel the forces of evil. Obviously, you're going to want them not to be, don't grow up to be a peasant after you've come out of this village, after this, 4-year education here in the university. We want you to come out as an archdruid, right? We want you to come out as some powerful force that will be able to contain the forces of evil. And they will become those by being taught well in the school. So effectively, their future is a metric for the success of your institution. These are the statistics of your school. This menu allows you to distribute students among houses and decide the priorities of their studies. Your school's prestige, number down here, will impact the number of students who would like to apply. Some artifacts will create ingredients. Combine 3 of them in the cauldron menu to give a potion that will give you an immediate bonus when played. We're getting towards the end of the layered mechanics that are being demonstrated here. Yes, it's very dense, but in practice, these are interacted with one at a time, so they don't feel as overwhelming as necessarily the tutorial appears to be. Some events will give you objectives. Fulfilling them will give you rewards at the end of the stage, such as spell books, which will give you bonuses in your campaign's next stages. The timeline showing the Lord of Evil's progress will let you know how long until he arrives. When it completes, an undead army will come to destroy the school. At this point, your only option will be to flee and build a new school elsewhere. Communicating with the Lord of Evil or completing events may slow his progress. However, in the interim, all I have to say to you is good luck, boyo! End of tutorial. Alright. Let's get dug into Spellcaster University. Spellcaster University, not Spellcaster University. I am very, 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 what's the word I'm looking for here? Conditioned by games to expect craft to be in the title. Still, to this day. I'm not going to take any of the challenges. I will just go with the default settings here. So Sorcerer of the difficulty level, normal for the game length. Okay. I mean, it only makes sense for the university to be the Republic University. That's a bit basic. What else can we do with that instead? The Institute of Higher... no. The Institute of... The Institute of Rhapsodies. There we go. You know what? That seems like a damn good banner for the Institute of Rhapsodies. Eric McGahn, much appreciated the Prime subscription. Enjoy emotes in chat and welcome to the Republic, as well as to Seamus the Hug Monster for the Tier 1 subscription for the 3rd month. Says, good relevant time of day to you all. An excellent relevant time of day right back at you, friend. And Maxwell, subscribed to Tier 1. They have subscribed for 18 months. 2 babies? This baby is just named John, but it's spelt both different ways. At the same time, we have a Quantum John. Good evening, Wildermarked. Thank you very much for the 100 bits, as well as a Rebel to the End for the Tier 1 subscription. Enjoy emotes in chat, and welcome back to the Republic. There was also just one that I did miss. A Rebel to the End. Thank you very much for the 200 bits as well earlier. Says, hey Raps, I just want to thank you so much for fostering this community. Every single one of you means so much to me. And being comfortable with myself. Thanks so much, Saffron. It's very kind of you to say, Saffron. I saw a message in the Discord from you actually earlier as well that was similarly a little too old for me to respond to at the time. That I just extremely, extremely kind of you to say. AliAO3 as well. Enjoy the Prime subscription and welcome back to the Republic. Alright, so we used the Take a Peek episode to jump into the forest. I think I'm going to start in the village here. It's kind of just like hard defaults. Basically as hard defaults as we can get. A citadel lost in the middle of fields. The farmlands near the kingdom's largest cities will be perfect for setting up our school. The local farmers may cause some trouble, but peasants are always complaining anyways. City dwellers, students will now be wealthier than usual. They don't know how to complain because we don't know how to handle them. Will give us a pig chamber and a village banner as well as extra reputation with the peasants. To begin with, we're here to teach magic, not to solve a neighborhood crisis. Gives you shadow and alchemy, and the peasants will stop complaining once they see the wonders of magic. Gives you the observatory and runestones. These are effectively like just starting boosts, right? And these will happen a lot over the course of the first couple of years, these kinds of starting boosts. Ultimately, you can try and craft a very specific start out of them, but what I'm going to try and do here is spread out wide. Is it cheating if I ask your mod team for teaching pointers? Not at all. Not at all, I don't believe. We're here to teach magic, not to solve the neighborhood crisis. I'm gonna go for the shadow in the alchemy room. Already gives me 2 schools of magic to start focusing in. The pig in the village. Yeah. Let's go for the magic instead. So immediately I'm going to pause. Here is our plot of land upon which we can place our building. Start building out to the side, connected to the building if we'd like, or not. Where'd the pipe go? I saw, actually, I rewatched the intro for the previous episode, when at some point we thought we'd seen the last line from Boyo. And the next line was immediately from Boyo again. And I laugh, and in laughing, the pipe immediately falls out of my mouth, which I didn't even notice at the time, but I just love it as a touch. But I'll have to explain it as that. I laughed at some point and the pipe fell. All right. Well, let's see what we can get done here in terms of speaking whilst I have a pipe. It's effectively just giving me a little bit of a lisp on one side. That's all it really does to affect us. Unless I just put it further. Nope, that's still going to do it as well. It's the constriction of the lips here, you know? Does anyone know if you can pipe cannabis? You can, but you will eventually ruin the pipe because the resin is very, very thick. And as a result, the pipe will become not useful, but instead ornamental, something that you use when you're playing a character. We have a shadow room and an alchemy room here, so those individual rooms will be able to teach the alchemy skills. There are 3 skills of each different type of natural discipline. There's the alchemy has runes, potions, and enchantment. There is also Shadow, which has Necromancy, Demonology, and Assassin. However, they will be very slowly improving their skills, so they will become kind of like a jack of all trades, effectively there. Alright. So each of these are an individual size room, and they have access from all points. Useful, useful. So what I like to do at the very start here is try and get things that the students will return to consistently to be relatively close to the center of the map. Because if it is relatively close to the center of the map, then they will have the ability to have, from anywhere that they are originally, a reasonably short path back to the main halls, right? So they're never going to have like the worst case traversal of the entire day, and then they get to the bedroom and they hit the bed for a millisecond and then get back up very tired, that kind of thing. So in line with that, I'm gonna get the dormitory here. I'm gonna slap that bad boy right there, get the refectory, slap that directly atop it. Might cause some noise issues in real world, but there's nothing like that we have to worry about here. Shadow room and alchemy room. A student hall. I also want them to have access to this. The student hall, so to be very clear about the buildings I put down, dormitory for sleeping, reduces their tiredness. Student hall, or rather the refectory, is for hunger, reduces their hunger. These make sense. A building will get more efficient as you play more copies of that building atop itself. So if I had another refectory card, I could put it on the refectory and get one more level of evolution here, which would increase our efficiency. However, if I get enough levels of evolution, I can instead trade away the efficiency again in order to get some bonus here, like healthy. Students who eat here have a strong chance of losing the voracious trait. It's a negative condition they could have associated with them. So I didn't finish watching this YouTube video for this. What are the failure states and victory states for this game? Has one measure progression. So the end state, rather than a failure state or a victory state, the end state is getting the Lord of Evil to invade. You can slow it down, you can reverse their progress, but they will inevitably eventually destroy your school. And at the point that they do, the missions that are not yet tracked, because I haven't gotten any, you want to complete as many of those as possible. So it is more like you've completed 1 star for this area, rather than you won or you're lost. That kind of thing. Alright. Second up, I want to flank where the students are going to be with study rooms. So I'm going to get the alchemy room over to the left, which immediately comes with a teacher. I'm not going to be... Excuse me. I might, like, flavorfully name the teachers, and I'll negotiate that stuff with stream chat, I imagine. The students, however, will be named after the people at or above the 4th wall tier over on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. So, we have 2 teachers here. I will also very quickly say, stress something that I mentioned that I didn't mention in the primer. And that is... These have small bonuses in different directions. Like the Pedagogy Good means they will teach 10% faster. Ancient Wisdom also means they teach 10% faster. This unit moves 10% slower and students learn 10% slower. These kinds of things mostly average out. So instead of like assessing each individual trait and focusing heavily on them, you more do macro level adjustments rather than micro level adjustments, because if you were to try and do every micro level adjustment in a game like this, you will die. You will get nowhere at all because you will be stuck in decision paralysis trying to assess them forever. So I will not really pay too much attention to these kinds of things unless they seem like they are going to be exceptional in one direction or the other. A unionized employee will cost 50% more, however, they will have good working conditions, so their tiredness, boredom, and hunger lower 20% faster. Here, I mean, this is Elder, which means they move much slower than other members of staff, and they're also slow. They move 20% slower, so both of those are stacking atop one another in a kind of bad direction for me. And the reason it's a bad direction is because teachers will try and move off-site to go to bed or to eat or those kinds of things. They won't use on-site things unless there are specific on-site things for them, right? So you want a teacher's lounge or private apartments, things like that. Because of that, the alchemy teacher is going to spend most of their time walking to and from the outside of the school, so I don't want to take Bob Hervey over here on this side. Instead, I'll probably take Mercedes Rustic, basically regardless of what they have. It's worth noting, Inspiring is pretty good. Students in this teacher's class have a small chance of losing a random negative trait. These kinds of losing a random negative trait, kind of like removal of those kinds of things, is part of the reason that you make more macro considerations than you do micro. Because ultimately, the micro kinds of things, you worry about the dollars and the pennies sort themselves. To horribly butcher and completely invert a previous phrase. Alright. We also have Shadow Teachers in Rose Pantoon and Harold Carpochin. Rose Pantoon is Hawk-Eyed Clumsy. Fun Job Lover. So a fun Job Lover. Fun. Students in this teacher's class get bored half as fast, and the Job Lover reduces boredom growth by 50%, so no one's going to be bored in Harold Catchapon's class. You, my friend, need a name that demonstrates that no one will ever be bored with you. You are... Carrot Top. Because I can't imagine anyone getting bored of that guy. What do you mean, the last 2 decades? I have no clue what you mean. Let's get this student hall relatively close to where the students are going to be congregating consistently, if we can. So probably directly above the refectory makes sense. I don't want to cut off the paths out here and downwards, because this can access upwards, this can access outwards, but the student hall is limited. It only goes up and down in order to get into it. It does not go left to right. Okay. And then finally, before we actually start the simulation running, let's make some houses. So I have already shadow and light. No, shadow and alchemy are the two things that I'm already good at. So none of these affect those. When you get a house, you can get 2 features for that house. Anyone who is in that house will inherit those features, as well as this discipline priority. So this is the ability to get a specific group of students in a house to worry mostly about their alchemy, or never study nature is a kind of thing. So like, if I really wanted to, I could go Child of Nature and Passionate. So Child of Nature learns natural magic 25% faster, and Passionate learns the 4th and last levels of magic 25% faster. And then go, you are priority on natural, and you literally are not allowed to learn anything else. The only problem is I don't have any natural rooms at the moment, so the person in this house would spend all day doing graffiti, I guess? They don't have anything to do. So let's get them to move faster and reduce all health losses. No, I'm gonna make them move faster and be passionate. Actually, no, passionate. Do I need passionate people early on? Do I need a passionate house early on? Not necessarily. Maybe I have them be gourmet, right? So they spend more time in class because they lower their hunger faster. Are there 2 songs playing right now? Kinda seems like it. Alright. House name. Let's randomize 3 times, and then we will name the house around the thing that we get. 1, 2, 3. The Bloonicorn. I mean, look, sometimes the game just gifts it to you. Athletic and gourmet. Let's go. Whoa, actually, I'm also going to have to very quickly go and make sure that they are all on normal priority as well. We'll change these priorities later as we get more buildings to throw people into. Let's get another new house. Yes. Okay. We got Alchemy Apprentice. Learns Alchemy 25% faster. So I'm going to tick that on and then prioritize this house towards Alchemy. And then the house's second feature, they can be unbreakable, lose less health, lose less sanity when insulted, or tiredness lowers faster, so they spend time studying. More time studying, that is. Sure. Let's do the same methodology. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're just gonna very quickly change the color palette here. One second. There we go. This is the Hourglass. That's the name of that house there. The Time Wasters also would have been a pretty good way to go about it. Although there are temporal magics in Arcane. So they've got a lot more time to waste. Is workers just a 10% across the board learning bonus? Yes, yes it is. Start recruiting 5 new students. Okay. Naomi Turnip is chaotic neutral, smart, and well off, so it's worth noting. Obviously, the students don't have a pedagogy, instead they have an intelligence, increases their learning rate by 20%, or decreases it possibly if they have a lower one. And then well off is the amount of money that you get from the tutelage of this student. Naomi Turnip. So Naomi Turnip is definitely going to come along with us. Naomi, what is your name? Naomi. Your name is Yannick, and then, so I'm gonna pull the first name from the 4th wall tier, and then I'll give the surname to be kind of like character specific. And part of this is about kind of like anonymizing the names a little bit for the folks on the fourth wall tier. So Yannick, and then final name is going to be the Balladful. Actually, can I just give you like a title? Like Yannick the Balladful? Love it. You could go in pretty much any house here and be pretty happy about it. Let's get you as one of my early arcane apprentices. Okay, Lady Gaspard is chosen by the light. Smart, wealthy. They're also beautiful. Down to earth means they are going to be worse at studying arcane magics. Interesting. What is your name going to be, though? Gonna buy some cards before on pause? Definitely, definitely. I'm just gonna play out the cards that we have at the moment first. Isn't prepared says, so I recall seeing some rooms/effects that add a bonus to knowing 2 different schools. Are they in general worth it? Depends what you're trying to do. If what you're trying to do relies on knowledge of both of those schools, yes. They can also just be pretty good for making characters that are quite good in combat. Patricia, and chosen by the light and beautiful. Patricia Soler. Because you know who's chosen by the light, beautiful, down to earth, kind of aggressive. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
What's up?
Pick up my keys off your desk.
I'm pretty sure that that's next to my wallet on the bedside table.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bob.
Love you, Bob. Praise the sun. I mean, maybe Soleil is not necessarily that smart, but Patricia is, so we'll take. And you can go also into the Blunicorn. I think I'm gonna wait for like people that are already going to be an alchemist apprentice to go into Hourglass here, maybe. Patrick Ray is well behaved. They're a shadow disciple also, and a goth, so they learn magic from the light school a lot slower. I mean, he managed to make it to Gwyn. Yeah, sure, but so did I, and I'm a dummy. This is Kyle, a shadow disciple who is well behaved. So let's think about, like, people that are in the realm of, like, evil casters, but there's something about them that's a bit nice, you know? I actually don't know much about Dragon Age, so I'm gonna name you Solus, and I'm gonna hope that that works. All of my students are smart. They are all quite clever. We have a brilliant student here who's also quite poor, unfortunately. If a student dies, I don't lose any prestige, but I get double prestige if they end their studies. They're shifty and chatty. They're brilliant and poor. Okay, I already know who this is. Doyler? Doyler Hamilton. The Doyler sisters. Angelica. Work. You get in there. Frank Winterfall. Smart and poor, they're a slow procrastinator, so they act and get slower time, and they're also slower. But if they die, no one will care. So you, my friend, based on none of those traits, are going to be moms, and then based on those traits, I will give you a last name along the lines of Riddle. Oh, that's a Harry Potter reference. God, I keep forgetting. Aragon? I mean, not really a slow procrastinator. Aragon was kind of about it, like going, you know? You can get in there, though. We also put that student in a house that does give them athletic. So athletic moves faster by 25%, so they're kind of balancing out their negatives there a little bit. Yeah, Aragon's a novel. And the kid in it's the kid in it is named Aragon, and he's no parents, an orphan. Did you promise no Harry Potter references or something? It's not that I promised no Harry Potter references. It's just it's. I feel like everyone is grappling with their now complicated relationship to the material. And I think it's easier for me to just disengage entirely than constantly grapple with it, you know? There's other books out there. There's other references to make. Library. There's also another refectory and another dormitory. Comes with 5 beds for students to recover from tiredness. So these could be played atop the one that I already have in order to increase their viability, or I could get the library. The room housing this artifact is 35% more efficient. So that's just quick. This is quite quick. You can look at the school rules before I'm pausing? Possibly. Let's get the library. And then what do I want to get? Yeah, I'll do that in the alchemy room because we have the alchemy specialist who is just going to rocket their studies in that room. Just do real well. Rincewind? What? Why did you mention Rincewind? Is it because... This game seems to have some references baked into the auto-generation, and it had one name that was very close to Rincewind. So I was very excited by that for a moment, just in case that had happened on screen. Let's get another card from the standard deck. Teacher's Lounge. Love it. So I'm going to try and put the Teacher's Lounge central to a lot of different classrooms. So popping it here makes sense. I want it to be accessible from every direction as well. I'm very likely to put a classroom atop here also, so yeah. Teacher's Lounge goes there. Let's get another card from the standard deck. Light Room! A classroom that allows students to slowly improve their light magic skills, heroism, retribution, and sacred magic. We have Shadow and Alchemy at the moment, so this gives us a third school of things to go through. And in fact, we'll go exactly where I'd previously mentioned. Perfect. Ooh, baby. Siegfried Rutabaga is excellent at teaching. Honestly, they'll be fine. They'll be quite comfy. What? Do you need a name, Siegfried Rutabaga? Not everyone needs a name. Naming everything is just going to take a million years, and I'm going to run out of good names. So we'll name when the spirit moves us to do so. Okay. Final thing I've got to do is go to the head teacher's office, because this actually does have in-game considerations that I have to make. Have a look at the rules here. These things are going to make more sense as we go further into the game, but there are things like this, like we have the option to make students pay us to use the dormitories, but they become less effective, so we can come in here to kind of like modify our income a little bit, and that is mostly what we're going to be doing with this at the very start. I'm not really going to deeply engage with this screen for a little bit, at the absolute least. Probably, you know, a mission in the future, maybe. All right. Let's unpause. I'm also just going to go on speed 1 for a little bit here as we wait for the students. Actually, you know what? Speed 3 while we wait for the students and teachers to actually arrive. Welcome on in, everyone. You will be the first graduating class of... Well, excuse me? What are you... I was talking? Hi. Apologies for bothering you, but something fell off the back of a wagon near your school, so I assumed it was yours. And I bet you're the kind of guy who likes to reward generosity, aren't you? What do you think? Now, this is a weird one. This one's a weird one, because it says, all right, what have you got to offer? The condition is has at least 100 gold, but you receive 100 gold? You're not actually paying them. You get 100 gold for having 100 gold here. It's a weird one. We're back to the Hatter. I just played a D&D session as my Mad Hatter character yesterday, so we're certainly predisposed to be a little in that realm, certainly. Okay. So here we have a choice of an artifact. A wolf's tooth. A student is when a student is at least level 1 in beast magic and herbalism, they get a wolf's tooth, which means they will move 20% faster, so it's just like a permanent increase to anyone who should happen to study both of those schools of magic. Alchemical talisman, when anyone is level 1 in enchantment and runes, they get an alchemical talisman, and they'll generate 30% more alchemy mana, and if you get level 3 in demonology, you get demonic horns and deal twice as much damage in combat. We'll take alchemical talisman and play that out. That seems like a bug to me. There are a fair few things like that. Those are some of the kind of like polishy, buggy kind of issues that do still exist that I don't hold super hard against the game, to be fair. Also, some of the issues in the card text are due to translation from French. This is from a small studio, Sneaky Cat Games, based in Toulouse, France. Okay, so we can also see these events directly below me aren't gonna get very high consistently, so you're not being denied actually active, useful information here. I'll just engage with the events as they come here, I think. So the first event is literally just 5 more applied students. You are slower at magic work, and slower at shadow work, and you're also bad for library work, but you are a tuition. So you go in class. Wait, hang on, I didn't name that one. Tim, you're a comical procrastinator and you've got claustrophobia. How about you be named Pie Good, Cake Bad? Just to show allegiance. Maggie Rolandis is a diligent orphan who is chatty but down to earth about it. A diligent orphan who's chatty and down to earth. I'm not sure I know an example similar to that from me. Well, there you go, your last name's Annie. I don't think there is a stat in here for precociousness, but there is a name for you, and that'll be Jazzy. Go in that same area. Orphan, ugly, allergic to pollen. Lucia Bondier. Lucia, you will be Eloise. Orphan, ugly, allergic to pollen. Sneasel. Eloise Sneasel. Blunicorn is a very popular house. I'm kind of using Hourglass here just to heavily focus on Arcane. I'll demonstrate this as we get back out. Eve Vivant. Alchemy Apprentice. Beautiful. You are finally for Hourglass. You're also demoralized and passionate. Oh my god. An Alchemy Apprentice who is passionate and is gonna get... You can actually stack it as well, so an Alchemy Apprentice can like Alchemy Apprentice as well. Like you can get 50% faster by stacking the two. It's so good. Alright, Eve. You're an excellent student here for us. And you may have an excellent name in Neckoheim. Your last name, of Gondor. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. The king sends his regards. Makes it seem like he's kind of about to murder us, right? But it's not.
An old school for my kingdom. How great. So very great. And yet I would very much like to help, for I am a fair and generous king. What do you need?
Our school would need a new source of funding, get 200 gold for that, or have the Royal Architects build a advanced room. I'm gonna have the Royal Architects build an advanced room first. We have a choice between the Janitor Lodge, Chamber of Truth, and Assassin's Arena. Because we already have the ability to study light magic, and we already have the ability to study shadow magic, we can still get our way into Assassination and Retribution later on. Neckohime? Neckohime. I will remember that for the future. Much appreciated. The Janitor Lodge, however, supplies a janitor who cleans walls vandalized by students and improves the room efficiency. So given a long enough period of time, students misbehaving in rooms will vandalize them. So having a janitor to actually increase those back to their full capacity is a pretty effective thing to have. I'm going to want that relatively central to the building as well. In fact, I'll put that directly adjacent the Teacher's Lounge. Slightly lessens access to the Teacher's Lounge from teachers. Maybe that's not a great idea. I'll put it directly above the student hall. I do wonder how the pedagogy of the janitors really contributes here. I don't think they have a work training program. Ancient wisdom, when teaching, you may increase your reputation with the Inquisition. So some of them will have a way to increase your reputation with some of the clans that we have yet to meet. We'll show what reputation is and the effects that it has at the time that it occurs.
Janitor Tony Cigaris.
You know what, Tony Cigaris? Get on in. Slows growth rate, boredom, needs less. You're unionized and greedy, so your salary is really high. Okay, Tony, we'll take you. The Adventurers Guild sends its regards. I found a window between 2 troll massacres to come say hi. The opening of a new magic school is always good news for the Adventurers Guilds. What kind of mages do you train? Mages who mend folks who are always in need of good healers, mages who blow things up, or mages who use magical trinkets. They're sometimes useful too. Mages that can blow up things is going to give me more in the realm of kind of like assassin-y magic here. Mages who can heal folks. I want to take mages who can heal folks. Nice. We did get an infirmary here, a room where you can staff a nurse to be able to heal your students and get rid of magical aberrations that can occur while they are studying. Things like getting a pumpkin head. Just an aberrant pumpkin head for you. The other 2 options are the Guild Manor. Active characters in this room increase your reputation with the Adventurers Guild, or the Medicine Cabinet. Active characters in this room increase their health over time. We'll take the Infirmary, and one of the reasons I'm taking the Infirmary here is because having an Infirmary will open future event options for us. The villagers send their regards. Hi there. We're from around here. We don't like trouble, and we're not fond of strangers. What are you doing here exactly? Don't worry, we teach exclusively sacred magic in accordance with the Church of Light. We'll lose reputation with the Inquisition, but we gain reputation with the peasants. Or we can just get a small bonus to the peasants, but get natural mana, or we can tell them about our intent to become necromancers. So, honestly, I just want to try and expand my schools of magic, so I'm going to take natural. Which means, past this point, the only school of magic I have no access to is arcane. So we've got 100 natural mana, which is going to give us the ability to pull from the nature deck. And pulling from the nature deck gives us Totem, Pig Chamber, and Ivy. Totem. Active students in this room slightly improve their druidism skills. Pig Chamber, up to 3 students can use the Pig Chamber to communicate with the outside world and speed up communication between factions. So the guinea pig down here that is demonstrating that we have the ability to contact other factions will have a lower cooldown as more people are in here. And then finally, Ivy. The room housing the Ivy and all adjacent rooms are more efficient. Activities go by faster. I'm going to get the Pig Chamber because a really early Pig Chamber is really good. Although, the Pig Chamber, as a card, you can see it demonstrates on itself that little red line directly above the top of it. I can't show it on hover over because it starts showing the other side of the card. Can I right-click? There we go. You can see here, building above this is not possible. So we would have another space above it before we can build anything further up, which means I want to build this basically as high up as I possibly can, so I may just want to put it right here. Seems pretty reasonable to me.